What's up, everybody? So we experienced a new low today. We were out and about on the streets, and we're homeless. In case anyone watching this doesn't know, we're homeless, and so we had all of our stuff, suitcases, backpacks, everything, right? And we were not begging at the time. We're actually just waiting on the corner to cross the street. We're just waiting on the crosswalk to cross the street, and a car rolls by, and a teenage boy, maybe, 16 years old or so, he leans out the car and he yells out of his car as loud as he could, "Fuck you and your son." That's what he said. Not just fuck me, not just get a job, not just you're a loser, nothing like that. Fuck you and your son. My son who's autistic, by the way, and regardless if he knows that or not, you shouldn't be yelling at anybody's kid, regardless if they're handicapped or not. So I was just in utter disbelief, not to mention being fire mad, just extremely mad, right? Because of course, as always, people scream stuff to us as they're in their car driving away. So that happened today. That is I didn't know what to say. I flipped him off. I mean, what else am I gonna do? I didn't know what else to do. That was just my instinct reaction. I just flipped him off and was half hoping. I was in my head, come on, please come back. Please say it to my face, because I'm stupid myself. I'm a caveman myself sometimes, and so my caveman instincts, want to smash the dude's head into the ground until his brain comes out of his skull. I know that's terrible to say. That's not something that you should do. That's not even necessarily something that I would have done. That's how I was feeling. That was how I was feeling on the inside. Because he just not only screamed at me, like I said, "Fuck you and your son." So that's how I felt, right? I wanted to bash the guy's head into the ground. And thank God, literally, that I don't possess any weapons. I don't have any guns. I'm an ex-felon. I'm not even allowed to have guns. And I don't have a knife anymore. I had a little pocket knife, but I lost it. But thank God, kind of, that I don't have any weapons, because, I think about, I'm like, what if one day someone actually, instead of just driving by in a car and yelling at me, what if he came up to my face and said that, Obviously the smart thing would be to do would be just to ignore him and, go about my day or whatever. But like I said, I'm stupid sometimes. I get my caveman mentality sometimes. And if someone said that, someone said, "Oh, hey, fuck you," or whatever, to my face, whatever, right? Maybe I get mad or something, maybe I wouldn't. But someone came up to my face and was like, "Oh, fuck you and your kid," to my face, I might do something really dumb. So, yeah, instead of just bashing his head into the ground a few times, who knows what I would do, right? I'm not going to say, because who knows, right? I'm used to speculate. But so, I'm kind of glad, especially that I don't have a gun. Because, again, with my stupid caveman brain, just out of instinct and not thinking, I might have literally shot at his car or something. That's why you can't be doing stuff like that, right? Not that that guy would care, even if someone said, "Hey, you shouldn't do this," stuff like that. He's an ignorant kid, coward, obviously, in his car, driving by, screaming something, not just at me, but at my son. "Oh, wow, you're such a brave dude," screaming something at a person on the street, standing there on the street while you're in your car, and you have to utter obscenity towards their child. Great guy, right? Anyways, so couldn't believe that it happened. Not very surprised, because in the state of Washington, that does happen more frequently than any other state that I've been in, homeless or not. I've had more people just yell stuff at us, when we are begging, something simple, "Oh, hey, get a job," whatever. That's, I get mad, but it's not as big a deal. Or somebody yell obscenity to us, or, I don't even think I told you guys this. We're actually waiting at this bus stop that we're currently waiting at, and this teenage girl came by in a car, and instead of shouting words at us, she screamed at us, just like in the loudest vocals that she could, just like a shrill scream, to startle us, just to scare us. So that happened. When we were in Oregon, actually, I was walking by myself. I was walking to the store, and there was a car full of teenage girls, and one of them literally leaned out of the car and started barking at me. So yeah, but with girls, I'm a little bit more passive. Maybe because I'm older and I grew up in the time was like, oh, you don't hit girls and all this kind of stuff. I didn't grow up in the time like nowadays where it's all about equality and all that stuff. And so when girls do stuff like that, I'm still mad, but I like shrug it off more. But when I guess I go into my, like I said, caveman mode, but like alpha male mode when another guy does it, it's like, you feel challenged as a man, I suppose. When a girl does it, it's like, or especially a teenage girl, what am I going to do? It's a lose-lose situation. Even if a teenage girl came up to me and said it to my face, what am I going to do? Beat her up, smash her head against the ground. Of course, I'm going to go to jail, and she's going to be considered the poor little victim. But if a teenage boy comes up to me doing it, especially if he's like bigger than me or something like that, and he says something like that to my face, and I kick his ass, I might have half a chance in court, at least, But, yeah, so that happened today. I do want to say that even though, like I said, these types of instances have happened more here in Washington than I experienced it in Utah and California and Arizona. I mean, I've been to New Mexico, Wyoming, never experienced anything like the cowardice, like I said, of people just shouting random things at you or screaming at you or anything. Never experienced it as much as I have here in Washington, right? However, it's also, I think, important to note that there, on the other side of the spectrum, there's also extremely nice and kind and giving people in Washington as well. Extremely. And I'm not just talking about giving us money, which people have. A lot of people have given us money. So I'm extremely appreciative for that. And even, one guy literally gave me 4 cents. And he's like, hey, that's all I have. I didn't take it as disrespect. I was like, thank you. Everything helps. That's the lowest donation I've ever got was 4 cents. I took it, even if he was trolling, I don't know. But I took it as I appreciate it, right? And then all the way up to whatever. People have given us a lot of money. So that's important to know. And it's not just money. People have offered us food. Sometimes people will go to like Burger King or McDonald's and just, like the other day, we're at Walmart and there's a Burger King nearby, and the guy saw us begging on the corner, and he came up to us, handed us a bag of Burger King, and there was like, oh gosh, I don't know, like 6 Whoppers in there, like double Whoppers, and there was one that had like onion rings, just all kinds of good stuff, right? So yeah, so people are kind also here in a lot of ways too. There was another lady that came up to us, and she had like a trunk full of goodies. I don't think she gave us any money, but she had like snack foods in her trunk to give to like homeless people, like crackers and cookies and other snacks. And then she literally asked Becca, she was like, hey, do you need any like woman stuff, like hygiene stuff, woman hygiene stuff, And Becca said whatever, did she either need it or not need it. But it's the point that there are very, very kind and generous and thoughtful people here in Washington as well. And I think that's important to know. And very important to know too, it's also like, you might be thinking, okay, well, maybe it's just the teenagers. Maybe just the teenagers. They're just the asshole teenagers there, disrespectful, spoiled brat kids, whatever, right? Maybe. However, not even all teenagers here as well either. There have been young kids come up to us, sometimes even walking. The other day we were in front of a grocery store, begging, and this teenage girl was walking, and she came up to us and gave us $10 in cash. And there's been a couple times where teenagers either give us food or like even like, here you go, here's a bottle of water and stuff like that. So my point is, it's not all teenagers here either. It's very select, very few that are that extreme that will shout something at you and yell something at you. But then, like I said, on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's some extremely nice, and generous, and friendly people here as well. So I just think that's important to know. So from anyone who's never been to Washington, don't assume that they're all like that. You're gonna come here, people are gonna be shouting at you or whatever. And especially if you're not homeless, you probably wouldn't have to experience that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you still would. There's just people being jerks. I don't know. Like that girl barked at me. She didn't even know I was homeless. I was just walking to the store. But that was a workout. But still, my point is, you could just be doing random things and someone could do whatever. Anyways, so that happened today. I was extremely mad, in my mind. like I said, I'm not saying that you should do that, or that I even should do that, or even that I would do that. I'm just saying that's how I felt on the inside. I mean, someone, you know, how are you supposed to feel? Someone says, fuck you and your child. And then me and him, even though he didn't know my son is autistic, I know that. And so it hurts even more, because Nano's a beautiful guy. And even though whoever in the comments or on the streets or whatever, you can say whatever you want about me. And okay, maybe it's even true. Yeah, you should get a job. You're a loser. You're 40 years old. You haven't accomplished something. Whatever. I agree, 100%, right? But what has Nano done wrong? Nothing. He's a beautiful little boy. He's, you know, he doesn't bother nobody. He doesn't, you know, do nothing to nobody. He's just a great guy. And so I think that's what really made me mad. Like, makes me want to cry. I'm so mad. So anyways, so that happened. But it's over. Keep going on. I just hope, what I worry though, I just worry that one day that someone's gonna like throw something at us, or like try to physically do something. I mean, it's literally happened. I saw a news story. It's in another state somewhere. I don't remember where. But a homeless guy, he was just chilling on the sidewalk. He was just sitting down, and the dude came up behind him and boom, just shot him in the back of the head. You know, violence against homeless people, it's a real thing. It's a real thing, you know, and not only I have to worry about that happening to me, I have to worry about that happening to my child as well. And so that scares me. It worries me. What can you do? You know, life is dangerous. You know, being homeless is even more dangerous. So just keep going. Anyhow, that happened. It's over. Move on. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next week.